program guide.
Today's highlight with
New geisha with extracts from Mother Nature.
I still don't know when, but Solano and I will get married.
Congrats.
No hard feelings? No resentment?
Things happen exactly the way they are supposed to happen, Manuela. Hey, what are you doing? You scared me. Did you come and confer with the spirit of Mrs. Antonia? Did you come to ask if she agrees with your daughter's wedding to Solano?
My mom always wants what's best for us. That's why she uses new geisha with extracts from nature. New geisha with extracts from Mother Nature.
And the change of government won't stop a thing. I've run out of fingers counting the number of multinationals setting up here.
What about the 3 companies that announced their plans to launch last week?
I say there shortly. Me, I'd be looking to sell.
At what price?
More. Much, much more.
I don't know who you are or how you know these things, but one thing I'm sure of, you're in the wrong job. Here, call me tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'd like to hear more from you.
Are you ready for your big break? The East African, understanding the region.
A wife who you got through the office will be very insecure about you working in another place.
Always hunt up, don't hunt down.
You mean what? Go after your superior?
How dare you suggest that when a woman is aggressed against, we should look at the person who's been aggressed against?
Let the couple be. Let them sort out their issues. When they need you, then you come in.
Prostitution is being given a new brand.
All I know is that I connect people. Let's not choose to open our zips and do whatever our urge is, because I don't think that an urge is stronger than your will to say no.
People attach a lot of questions, shame to HIV.
I do not believe that when you wear a short dress, you should be a rep.
Marrying a wife is like having assured sex.
Anytime you come, you must have.
Yes.
To raise a population that has no clue how to be men.
Can you bring out a quality family?
I don't get married for my family.
Men, every Wednesday only on NTV. You're watching Morning at NTV.
Uganda, a country indeed truly gifted by nature. This and more is what you can experience if you decide to get out of Kampala and go to the countryside where this beauty is available. A sample of that at the Kampala Serena Hotel, and I'm standing on I guess Rock Serena. Welcome to Morning at NTV. While the weather in the city is fast changing, the weather here at Morning at NTV is definitely fast getting you out of bed and getting you ready for the day. My name is Brian Mlondo, Mabel Kebirunji, Joel Senyoni Dakaba, and of course to our very well-rested Simon Kasiate, who is still healing from Kofi Olomide. Let's get the show started with the question of the day. Good morning. I'm telling you, these sites are really breathtaking. Well, help us answer that question on our Facebook page, Morning at NTV. Like the page, and our Twitter handle is @Morning at NTV. SMS platform is also available, 6565, and of course you can go there, answer that question. The first 5 respondents will walk away with a beautiful mag from Morning at NTV, and you can partake of these things and more. Now, standing by at the NTV studios is Mabel, who has stories that are making headlines. Later in the show, we'll be coming up with a press review. Good morning, Mabel.
Good morning, Brian. I like the way you looked up towards me. Well, wherever you're joining us from, welcome to the show that gets you started today, the very last day of April. Now, in the headlines this morning, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta made law a marriage bill that allows for men to marry any number of wives. The NRM party's countrywide mobilization has been marred by allegations of discrimination, and the IGG asks Parliament to speed up the process of enacting the asset recovery bill.
You're watching Morning at NTV.
In an interesting development in neighboring Kenya, Kenya's Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday made law a marriage bill that allows for men to marry any number of wives before consulting their existing wife. The controversial law has been described by many women activists as demeaning. While polygamy has been legalized, polyandry, which would allow the same for women, remains bad.
Kenyan women had better start getting ready for the unknown. Soon, they will be welcoming sudden co-wives. For the woman or women in the home, there will be no batting of an eyelid when the husband shows up one day with a new wife. The new law which President Uhuru Kenyatta assented to today has made sure of this. In March, the bill received overwhelming support in the Kenyan August House.
Anytime a man comes with a woman, that would be assumed that that is the second or the third wife.
Yeah, Daudi never consulted anybody. Solomon never consulted anybody.
In the initial bill, the Kenyan woman had a say if the husband could bring another woman. But that provision no longer exists in the just passed law.
Men, we are not going to favor you. This bill is for women. You are the man of the house and you choose to bring on another party. And there may be 2 or 3. I think it behooves you to be man enough to agree.
In protest, the women MPs walked out of the house. Majority of MPs, men who stayed in the house, passed the law. The president has now joined them and put pen on it. But is the Kenyan woman happy?
At the end of it all, does not speak for the woman. You know, we have been put down. If a man is given that right, then a woman should be given the right as well to do the same.
That is not to be the case according to the law. Only one woman is known in Kenya to have married 2 men. The law could get her any time.
The women also should just try and agree. And they should also swallow what the men wants to undertake.
It's okay that way. Confirmed 100% according to my side.
Cohabiting has not been catered for. It was scrapped along the way. The passed law will now consolidate all existing laws on marriage in Kenya, including the Marriage Act and Hindu Marriage and Divorce Act. The National Council of Churches in Kenya has spoken out against the law, and the National Federation of Women Lawyers has said it will challenge the law. It is not clear if the law will interfere with the religious demands amongst Muslims of marrying 4 women. For now, President Uhuru Kenyatta has 1 wife. Who knows if he will marry another or others? That is a question his wife Margaret Wanjiru Gakuo cannot answer just yet, because as a woman, she too has been stripped of the right to have that knowledge beforehand. While the Kenyan woman starts looking at what the future holds for her place in the home, Ugandan women will now have to ask themselves what new thing the now shelved marriage and divorce bill might come up with if and when it does surface again. Florence Salimba, NTV.
Indeed, a case of news being stranger than fiction. Well, here in Uganda, the NRM party's countrywide campaign of popularizing President Museveni's 2016 candidacy has been marred by allegations of discrimination by many people in rural areas. Luengo district had chaotic scenes as dozens of NRM members were blocked from attending a meeting. We have more on this story.
As the campaign to sell President Yoweri Museveni's candidacy in the 2016 election odds up across the country, accusations of discrimination have become commonplace from the locals. The controversy was brought to the fore at an NRM meeting in Luengo district, where Chingo sub-county LC1 chairman and scores of their supporters were barred from accessing the venue. Matters were not helped when the NRM district chairman, Aji Muyanje Mbabali, arrived and got involved in a heated argument with Bokoto Bid West MP Isaac Sejoba over blocking the supporters.
There could have been, I suspect, there could have been some misinformation somewhere, which was caused by some members in the party who called in everybody. The purpose of this meeting was to disseminate information from Chankwanzi of the Chankwanzi resolution.
The meeting eventually went on and the members unanimously endorsed Museveni's candidature. In Chibale district, chaos broke out as residents scrambled to get some of the money being distributed to sell President Yoweri Museveni ahead of the 2016 elections. In Gulu, Northern Youth MP Evelyn Anite promised the youth in the Acholi sub-region that she will remind President Yoweri Museveni about the unfulfilled pledges he made to them.
If he delivers our promises, we will also deliver his victory. Okay?
Some youth in Gulu municipality also expressed concern at being left out of government programs like NAUDS, PRDP and NUSAF. Further afield in Kazo County, the NRM members led by the ICT Minister John Nasasira praised President Museveni for his leadership.
We do request the President to help us contest in the next coming 2016 presidential elections, because we are very happy with him of what he's doing for us, mostly younger people.
Camped in their constituencies, NRM party legislators have dutifully gone out popularizing the Chankwanzi retreat resolution. Some even handed out cash to the constituents as they went about. To the prying eye, this cash is questionable. Is it a bribe or just an allowance that observers should ignore?
In February this year, the NRM party came up with a resolution. The MPs within were tasked to take the message across to the voter. The message was to endorse President Museveni as the party's sole presidential candidate. On the 14th of April, the MPs set off, each with 4 million shillings to their sub-counties to help their cause. This 4 million shillings, if indeed it's all they're giving away, has raised eyebrows. Crowds rushing forward and others fighting over the money that some MPs have so publicly doled out. The MPs, merely messengers, have not been spared. The electorate is pointing a finger at some of them, accusing them of pocketing some of the money. Sisi Kagaba, a member of the Anti-Corruption Coalition, says scenes like these paint a clear picture of bribery, corruption at its best.
Initially, they told us that the monies were supposed to be used for sensitization. Then if it is sensitization, the ideal would be the Member of Parliament goes to the people, finds them where they are, you talk to them and move away without the justification of saying that you're giving them transport. Because they know that by giving them these very small, little transport refunds that they're calling, that they're referring to this money to, indirectly it is a bribe.
For us, we're not bribing anybody. The money you're referring to is a transport refund.
Anybody who attended that meeting, despite of any party color, you are given a facilitation to your transport back. The way it's the discretion is how the MP. But what is important?
They may choose to deny that it is not a bribe, but the fact that you're selling this one particular candidate as the candidate for the party come 2016, but we need to understand that this is not yet the time for campaigns. So one way or the other, indirectly, they are campaigning for this one particular candidate.
The Kinkizi West Member of Parliament, however, does not overlook the fact that the way the money has been handled raises suspicion of the party's intent.
Some members of parliament are not guiding the meetings properly, but it should not be a question of sharing money and fighting for money.
The conduct of some legislators in the field has also not gone unnoticed by the leadership. In return, some of the MPs are expected to appear before the party's disciplinary committee.
The Inspector General of Government has asked Parliament to speed up the process of enacting the Asset Recovery Bill to enable the government confiscate assets of people convicted of corruption. Irene Mulyagonja was speaking before MPs on the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee. Francis Jingo reports.
The Inspector General of Government, Irene Mulyagonja, told Parliament that the absence of the Asset Recovery Law has hampered the government efforts of cracking down on corruption. Mulyagonja told the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee that the existing laws do not allow them to recover stolen property, even after successful prosecutions.
If we could have those laws, maybe we would be better able to recover assets. But as the law stands today, it is not very possible. You cannot freeze, for instance. You cannot just go and freeze someone's assets and say it is suspected you have amassed this wealth illegally, without first proving actually that they have illegally amassed this wealth. So I think, again, the ball is in the court of Parliament. Let us have the law.
Last year, the Makindi East MP John Simbwa tabled a private member's bill that seeks to have the properties of the corrupt confiscated. The bill, currently before the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, has since attracted support from the anti-corruption agencies.
Working on that is hopefully by June we should be having a new law in place.
We shall be very grateful.
The lawmakers blamed the IGG for pursuing what they called small corruption cases instead of going for big ones in which billions of shillings are lost.
I would want actually to see an IGG which is backing harder, especially on those high-profile cases, the bigger ones.
Now, we cannot just be an institution that is constantly firefighting without stopping the fire from starting in the first place. So when we follow up an officer who has taken 300,000 out of turn, it's because we want to prevent other officers. Because if we didn't, it means we are allowing all the officers to receive double salaries, to siphon these small amounts of money they are given to do work for government. If we don't stop them, you end up with scandals like the very big ones that you have heard of. That money is money which was collected in our asset recovery account, 900 million. From those small amounts of money, everybody despises 300,000, 1 million, and so on.
The World Bank estimates that Uganda loses over 500 billion shillings annually through corruption. The IGG reported that all the MPs had this time round disclosed their wealth as stipulated in the Leadership Code Act. Jingo Francis, NTV, Parliament.
That's all we had for you in today's morning bulletin. We shall now cross over to Brian and Joel for the press review. Brian, what is the interesting picture in today's Daily Monitor?
Well, thank you so much, Mabel. We're still at the rooftop of the Kampala Serena Hotel, and somehow I can see actually a rainbow forming in the skies, and we'll be looking at that later. But the picture of the day this morning, the Daily Monitor on page 2, is the very popular Anite, who is this time charging with the youth and also with the flag of the NRM, saying, yes, we have finally approved the sole candidacy of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Well, we'll be looking at that and more in the press review coming up.
Is brought to you by
Uganda Telecom. It's all about you.
Well, as Simon Kasiate would say, it's definitely overcast at the rooftop of the Kampala Serena.
It is overcast with decorum.
With decorum, and instead of lampooning and lambasting your employer, you should be gazumping the money to the powers that be. Yes, Kasiate gets soon. Jakweruma, indeed. Because the press review is powered by Uganda Telecom, where it's all about you. Good morning, Joel.
Good morning.
Are you looking dapper and...
you know, the big story, we are going to have Minister Richard Trodwong. So I said, okay, this man might come with sacks of money. Let me wear yellow just in case. Sivira mwao.
Well, this morning, Daily Monitor, the headline, Joel, punish top NSSF officials, says IGG.
NSSF is one institution that's been dogged by malady after malady. And of course, at whose peril? You and I, we that do save money involuntarily with NSSF. And that's why many people are saying, you know what, we need to open this up so that there's several other players. So that people can go to who they feel can have their money very well secured, very well invested, and so that there's, you know, it makes economic sense at the end of the day. So until we see NSSF sorted out, we are going to keep seeing we losing money.
You know, I had actually cut, you know, NSSF some slack, and especially the MD, because I thought he kind of did a good job. He rebranded the, you know,
he came in with this proof, and you know, we thought he will change things around, and he did a couple of things, but now that we see this report, it seems to indicate otherwise, albeit although that whatever is being implicated, he's being implicated for, it's a little bit lesser than his predecessors, you know, but that is not enough.
Mliagonja yesterday, you know, saying, okay, if you steal 300,000 shillings and I steal 400,000 shillings, then another person steals 1 million shillings, all this money comes to about 2 million shillings. So, because each one of us has taken smaller amounts.
Yeah, of course, that's the point where they were grilling her about the so-called big fish who seem untouchable, and they were telling her, you only go for the small fish. And he said, well, even the small fish matter. And the truth of the fact, they do matter. Right. But I want to see the big fish being brought to book as well.
IGG, you know, we had, of course, the saga of Temangalo. Yeah. But now I was really annoyed when this does not even make business sense to anyone. You buy land at the same price. Years later, you sell it at the same price when you have no crisis.
And yet land keeps appreciating, keeps adding value, albeit
and it's a very good location.
Yes, it is. That's prime property. But we need to sort this out, because people save their money there involuntarily, like we are saying. At the end of it all, they should get it back in a larger sum so they can, you know, be able to retire a lot more comfortably. I'll tell you, many people, when they retire, all of a sudden it hits them, all right, they're out of work, the perks are not, you know, with them anymore, and many of them die sooner than they should.
Well, and on that note, the IGG says she lacks capacity to verify public servants' assets. Joel, even where a wife cannot verify your own assets until you die, will the IGG ever verify fully the assets?
She should be able to, but like she's saying, she needs capacity to do that, you know, because these people's property is known.
How do you follow up on something?
It's very rare. It's just like your names. It's just like the way we do intelligence. You know, how do we arrest terrorists? If we do, well, a few times we have. Probably need to do a lot more. It's intelligence. This information is all over the place. You know, if Brian Murondo, you own a building, even if it is in the names of Ziwet Azevidayo, somebody out there knows that, you know what, this building actually belongs to Brian Murondo. You know. So she needs money to build that capacity and infiltrate circles. Information is available. We just need to look for it out there. In the Daily Monitor here, we're told police has banned highway traffic roadblocks. Now, this might sound like music to the ears of many people. And the lizard here is saying one door for Kitu Kidogo has been closed.
Maybe it's going now because they'll be asking for fire extinguishers in their cars. But definitely, I find annoying some of the spots where they park. A corner and the guy wants to stop you. It's totally, you know, stupid for them.
And some of them, by the way, ride and drive recklessly, even though they have right of way. Sometimes
I kind of now feel bad because, yes, maybe they would have changed the spots where they park, you know, and stop cars. But to totally remove traffic off highway, I think it's a risk for us.
I think we need them because if they are in place, people have a sense of, there might be one around this area, so let me lessen my speed. Yes. Now, if people know there's no such a thing, they will just drive as recklessly as can be. Right. Logistical challenges slow down ID project, says the permanent secretary.
I really wouldn't want to dwell on that story because it's something that we preempted, and unfortunately government always makes us heroes by
surely they can't even they've successfully failed to prove us wrong.
Yes, and this
and
is
that we are not prophets at all.
Yes, but well, a story that we talked about yesterday, Joel, activists protest suspension of pregnant varsity girls, and I looked at how you know, UCU seems to shift goalposts.
UCU, and then there's Baham University.
If you're looking, if we are saying, okay, let us cleanse this university of the immoral standards that are there, and let us put some morals there. If you're if you're expelling pregnant girls, expel pornography stars.
And how about the boys, by the way, who impregnated these guys?
Well,
and to believe much of the time it's their classmates and the like. It's not guys from the outside. So how about the boy child, you know? So I think one would think this is hypocrisy. Of course, it is good they're trying to say, you know what, young people, when you get to school, study, you know. Get pregnant late after you finish school and get married and that kind of thing. The challenge is how they are doing it. I think it leaves a lot to be desired. They need to sort that out.
Well, today all roads will lead to Hotel Africana for the 933 KFM live debate, and it's been dubbed the Grand Citizens Debate, and it's been organized by KFM, our sister company, and in partnership with the Ugandan National NGO Forum. Go there and, you know, I think it's time to engage citizens on how a few things can be run. The state of Uganda. Are we ready for a leadership transition will be the theme.
Is there a leadership transition?
Do you think we are ready?
There should be one. I think that's a question we need to answer. I know if you ask that to many Ugandans, they'll tell you, you know what, we're not about to see this change happening, you know. But by leadership transition, I like to think of it as not just as metamorphosing from one leader to another. That is a good thing, yeah. But you see, the whole system has got to be remedied. If His Excellency President Museveni is not in place anymore as the Queen, assuming it is the chessboard.
The Pope.
But the rest of the way the system is, actually our challenge is the system. Our system is broken down. It is a very difficult one to man. We need to see that that system gets remedied. Of course, it begins with the leadership. The leadership is willing to sort this out and make amendments that need to be made.
Some interesting speakers there, Dr. Giza Besije, and a man who has come to be known as President Museveni's political, you know, brains, Mr. Frank Tumwebazi, the Minister of Kampala.
Well, maybe people give him too much credit also.
Well,
I
grab
don't
a
know.
copy of the Daily Monitor for you to check out the other speakers and details about the debate.
National Council for Higher Education directs Kampala University to recall Mombasa governor's degree. You know, this governor that was apparently awarded a degree, and it has raised a bit of dust, and they are saying, look, even his classmates' degrees should be recalled. There should be a lot more to be investigated.
Well, he's the governor, so surely.
Of course, he will have to lose his seat. He's not a governor in Uganda. Maybe he would have been able to pull a few strings here and there, unfortunately.
Well, that's why some people say, okay, even if some universities are still, you know, they are limping, literally, there's so much chaos, lecturers are striking from, you know,
you're talking about Maternal.
But you'd rather be stuck about Makerere and say, okay, at least my degree will be secure.
I was talking to a young man and giving them an analogy of what Makerere University is like, you know. It's like a stunningly beautiful girl, yeah, who you want to go after. But you see, the challenge with this girl is that there's many other guys after her. So you'll know that you'll not have absolute exclusivity to her. You know, you'd rather go for another one that is a little bit modest, and there'll not be many guys on her case, yeah. That's where Makerere is. You know, it's the best we have around here. Apparently, it's the fourth now in Africa. So everybody wants to go there, but when you're there, they don't give you attention. As a student, you are secondary, and yet you should be primary, yeah? Albeit, I will still marry a hot babe.
Yeah, or unless you'd rather be stuck with a hot babe and, yeah, be there.
But these days, there are no hot babes out there that are nice, that are not going to be swayed all over the place by every Tom, Dick, and Molondo, because they've got a little money and they appear on a morning show. Rich Ugandans soon won't need God's heaven. They'll make their own here on earth. This is an interesting article here. It's interesting. We keep saying there's no money in Uganda, but there are Ugandans that have got money. But some of them legitimately, others unscrupulously.
Well, it could be debatable that, you know, a few of them legitimately, and most of them illegitimately. Some of them have turned to being witch doctors in South Africa, and we know all of them. When they come here, they parade their, you know, personalized South African number plates. And we know that back in SA, they are witch doctors.
Quote unquote.
This is good news to especially women that have taken on to be inspired by the likes of Beyonce, Olivia Pope, and all this after the release of Pop's magazine. As people
Beyonce,
who
I know.
Yeah, Scandal. Well, she's actually called Kerry Washington. But weight loss surgery comes to Uganda, Joel. And yeah, they are going to start doing that, where you don't have to go, say, to the gym and jog or get on diet. You just go, they cut the meat, a small portion of that meat, and
it's got its ramifications. And I hope people get to do some reading before they go for some of these surgeries.
Yeah.
You know, of course, the easier, natural way is do exercises and so on. Well, of course, some people, the only thing they exercise is their mouth. They're always eating, so their jaws are always, you know, exercised, and they become hardened.
Yeah, well, but, what they do, they put a silicone band around the upper part of your stomach, and it creates a pouch, a tiny pouch. When you eat, the stomach fills fast, so you're literally starving. You don't eat enough food. And it helps you lose the weight.
Protect children during the holiday. That is, you know, an article here in the Daily Monitor, something that parents need to do a great deal. During the holidays, that's when you meet kids all over the place. They are looking for, they call it plot. And sometimes it plots against them. The Observer this morning, basically in talks with Lukwago and Kidandala. These two men do not seem to be eating from the same plate anymore. Somebody did say that, you know what, Kidandala might actually end up in the NRM. I do not want to prognosticate that here, but who knows? If it happens, I'll not be surprised.
I want to go on record and say this. If Lukwago keeps Kidandala, then whatever happens to him hereafter, yeah, he deserves every last bit of it.
But people deserve a second
You
chance.
can't have a man who is going to sink down to just acquiring 2 million shillings. Joel,
That wasn't Kidandala's voice. And I'm not in any way trying to expand
what it is. I do not care what it is. It's the whole lot. Yeah, whether it was not him or but it's the whole lot. It shows how desperate our leaders are. I would never sell my soul for 2 million shillings.
If your wife made a mistake, you don't throw her out of the house. You reconcile. You'll get angry.
That's my wife. That's not Kidandala. I'll trash Kidandala out as soon as.
Yeah, because you're not Elias Lukwago. But if they can mend fences, why not? I think they should try that and see how that can happen. Uganda loses 100 doctors annually overpay. I want to believe there could be a lot more. And you know what? We spend a lot of money on educating our doctors in this country. You know, even the tuition that they pay is not as enough based on the kind of facilities that are used. But for some reason, we have failed to master the art of, you know, when you invest money, you should be able to recoup it. We invest a great deal of money in these doctors, but we do not pay them well enough, and so they run away. Now, however patriotic you want somebody to be, at the end of the day, patriotism does not exactly put food on your table.
What is a decent job that a doctor should receive, or a decent amount of money they should receive? Because one, there's so many health facilities in the country. Obviously,
which do not have doctors. Some of them, all they have is a nurse.
Or maybe
the other day there's one that had one nurse who even ran away.
I was in Karangala, Joel, and doctors don't want to go to Karangala because they think it's far. But government provides money for them to go to.
Does it actually provide money?
Government gives money to teachers.
It's not enough.
I talked to a headmistress who said, you know what, government actually sends money to us to come to these places. But the moment a teacher hears Karangala, they say, that is fishing, that is HIV.
No, without a doubt, we need to give these people reason to go and work in these far-to-reach places, because the only reason they're running to Rwanda, Rwanda is paying them 3 times more than we are paying them here. Right. And I don't want to believe it's because we do not have money. We have a lot of money in this country, but what are we putting it to use for? We'll be discussing with Richard Godwong here where their money is coming from.
Definitely, I think I was playing devil's advocate, but I talked to a couple of nurses who are back to their countries in Kenya, you know, and they're like, you know what, Brian, I have spent a lot of time studying to be a nurse. I cannot waste it in Uganda, you know, getting peanuts.
So even Kenya is paying them better. It's not right. Fights over money, Museveni 2016 campaign. We are going to see a lot more of this.
Right. Well, the press review powered by Uganda Telecom, where it's all about you. The Red Pepper this morning with a screaming headline of Museveni firing the Special Forces chief.
Wouldn't you, if you were the one?
But, well, this kind of makes sense because he was involved in a saga with an Iranian businessman, and he conned him of 800 million shillings. I think that makes sense, right?
Somebody that says from autocracy to democracy to mobocracy. Well, of course, they cite Libya here, mobocracy, you know, being rulership of the masses. Everybody seems to want to do things the way they feel. I was talking to somebody yesterday who told me something that saddened me. This person told me that, you see, Uganda is slowly but surely becoming a kleptocracy.
What does that mean?
A kleptocracy is ruled by thugs, unfortunately. Now, of course, I was trying to see what this person was trying to tell me and trying to make sense of it, and I was thinking, but look at how much money we lose in this country on an annual basis. It's a lot of money. Look at our leaders. A good number of them are implicated in one way or another. And I was thinking, probably she was being too hard on our leaders, but maybe she has a point. Sense. Somewhat it does.
Well, hopefully the Arab Spring Revolution will never get here. We'll find a way of having peaceful transitions into leadership, people who are accountable. And I guess one day that time will come. Joel, I didn't want to focus on this, but I guess one of the things that has also showed, that has come out clearly, is the recklessness of people when they go out, say, you know, to relax and have all these fun activities, especially at the lake. And of course, the news of Olavi's death, some of us were his friends, those who were business partners, those who know the parents will definitely were saddened by the death of this young man who decided to get out of the boat and swim, and then the waves took him.
Of course, right now it's too late to blame the young man. It's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. We do commiserate with the family and the rest of his friends. It is sad, yeah. But of course, like you said, I think we need to be a little bit more careful. Children are now on holiday and they go on rampage. You'll find them literally everywhere. We need to, you know, keep a grip on these our children. Well, he wasn't a child, but I'm just trying to now bring in another angle to this of our children, because each time, you know, when children are on holiday, that is when defilement cases go up. You know, that's why when we get to hear many of these grotesque issues happening to our young people. So we need to look out for them.
You know, I have never gone on one of these boat trips, but I've had people who have gone on these boat trips, and their testimonies have freaked me out.
Do you know how to swim?
Yes, I know how to swim. But dude, it's a lake with a river that goes through it, like someone, you know, said this morning. But the people, one who manage these boats, these boat services, hold the passengers literally at ransom. He does not leave the, you know, the beach until you've given him extra money. When he takes you to the other island, he tells you he's going to leave until you add him more money. So people are on the lake, but they are thinking to themselves, I hope this guy does not drown us. And I guess it's also one of the things that needs to be checked out. Of course, Olavi might have obviously afforded the boat because it's from a well-to-do family, but definitely it's very sad. If you go out there and have
we hope there be no repeat of such.
Sad.
Government, we are told, has been told to support household businesses. And of course, there's commentary here on Telex Free. Telex Free and the allure of quick, easy money. You know, we want things chap, and little wonder our fingers get burnt, and we somehow do not get to learn. So hopefully, we do get to learn. Let's end child marriages. This is also in the Observer. The other day, we were lampooning a man who decided that he will give away his 8-year-old daughter. For what? 300,000 shillings plus a rooster. And I thought, you know what? I think that is why the dictionary has words like morons, words like fools. I don't really like to use those words. Yeah? Idiot.
Yes. The Bible tells you not to call anyone a fool.
That's what I'm saying. It's not me. I just see those words in the dictionary. And I'm thinking maybe that is why sometimes these words have
Joel,
a place.
President Uhuru Kenyatta passed the marriage bill and
yesterday.
And it popularizes, well, makes it legal. Polygamy is now legal in Kenya without even getting the consent of your partner.
That's what they're saying. You know, that the man is now free to marry as many women as he wants to. He does not have to consult his wife. And I'm thinking, you know, I thought we have got a fairly disturbing parliament here, but Kenyan parliamentarians are a total letdown. The other day, they came out and they passed a law that, you know what, if you do not refer to an MP as honorable, you're going to be fined 2 million shillings and or arrested for 6 months. I was thinking, what kind of crap? What
Some
kind
of our MPs are
self-importance is this? Absolute nonsense. I looked at this guy and I was thinking, these guys are a bunch of total letdowns,
Right.
a total disappointment. And now they come up, and I had one male MP saying, you see, David in the Bible had many women. Solomon in the Bible had many women.
All
And I'm
men of
thinking,
God had many women.
give me a rest. And
Right.
another word for rest is a break. I'm just trying to be nice.
Well, we'll be following that story as far as Kenya is concerned, but of course, very women activists have come up. Something here in the red pepper, Joel, Uganda loses 18 billion shillings in cybercrime.
And you see, it's just because, excuse me, you know they say as the hunter learns to shoot without missing, the birds learn to fly without perching, you know, so third area is becoming so high-tech. These guys are investing money in improving their technology so that they can steal a lot better. So we need to invest a lot more. It's going to be hard to catch up with them if we don't.
Right. Well, of course, now thieves are, you know, you have graduates who have trained in ICT and they go and use those skills properly.
What's happening in sports? I see here in the Daily Monitor, Road to Morocco 2015. Who will make the cut?
Well, of course, our the Ugandans, you know, Uganda's story is a bit sad. We are always doing mathematics,
calculating towards the end that if the other one loses and these ones draw,
we
and
shall win. You know, so we have a lot of that. And yesterday, Isma saying that we have so many games between now and November, and it comes down to whether we will have the cash to go to these places, whether we'll be able to bring in professional players.
Many times it zeroes down to that. I think we need to focus some more on sports in this country. We need to see that there is a will to promote sports in this country. And who knows, things will get better. Because you see, if we are last minute coming up and giving these players money, and so we actually confuse them. All of a sudden they have too much money on their hands. They've heard of too many promises, and they're so confused. So it should be gradual, you know, just like the way you love your wife, you know. You don't buy her a present once in a year. You do these nice things every so often, so that when it comes, she's not too shocked.
Oh, why? It's once a year Christmas, you buy a Gomez. That's the rule, everyone knows it.
Don't at all. You know, when the wife begins complaining, but you see, you no longer tell me I love you, and it's like, you see, I told you I love you on our wedding day. When I stop loving you, I will tell you.
Well, I pull out of homes in the Daily Monitor and focuses on tips for new gardeners, Joel. Most of our houses are built up to where the land literally stops. So there's no space for any gardening.
And you know, it's beautiful when you get a place that it has a bit of green. You feel at home. You know, each time I come to this rooftop, you'd expect to find blocks of, I don't know what, there's some greenery.
There's a lot of green here.
You know, it shows life. You get enthused to do whatever it is that you're doing. You want to run back home if it is your home anyway.
Right. Well, grab a copy of your Daily Monitor or the Observer or the Red Pepper. And that comes the end of a press review. Good morning, Mabel. What's making headlines across the world?
Well, thank you very much, Joel and Brian, for the press review. What's making news in the world? On the BBC front page on the website, the Iraqis are going to the polls, the first parliamentary polls since the withdrawal of U.S. troops. Another big story is that of a U.S. prisoner who died in a botched execution, as well as the owner of the LA Clippers being banned for life for the racist remarks he made. We have been talking about that story during the sports segment, and I think today Brian, Isma and I will continue talking about it. And on CNN, we still have the same story, the lethal injection that went wrong for this prisoner who was on death row. Apparently, this guy was supposed to die, but he was not supposed to die of a heart attack. And that is exactly what killed him. Apparently, a vein burst. And because the vein burst, the medicine couldn't do what it was supposed to do. So he died of a heart attack instead. And it is a big case there. A private company is saying they have found what they believe to be the wreckage of the MH370, the plane that disappeared. I think it's coming to 2 months now. And an interesting picture here, still on the CNN page of, we don't have goats, I mean, we don't have horses in Uganda, but this is, I guess, a very good, we can modify and adapt our polo in Uganda to use goats instead. You can see the gentlemen there with their sticks. This is something that happened over the Easter holiday. So I think it's taking innovation to another level. And in Uganda, we should clearly pick a leaf from that. We shall be taking a short break right now, but Joel will be returning with today's big story.
phone.
Yeah.
Answer the phone, just answer the phone. Don't miss that call. Don't miss loads of cash from Uganda's most affordable telecom service.
Uganda Telecom. It's all about you.
Yo, check it out, check it out. Uganda Telecom gives you a chance to be a millionaire. Your next phone call can turn you to a millionaire.
Answer calls on your mobile or landline, and one of them could make you a millionaire.
Just receive calls on your Uganda Telecom number. You could win up to 1 million shillings every day.
The more calls you receive, the higher chances of winning.
There will be a winner every hour, every day.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is just answer your phone.
If you call me now,
I can be a millionaire.
if I call you now,
You can be a millionaire. Answer the phone, just answer the phone.
Yeah.
Answer the phone, just answer the phone. Don't miss that call. Don't miss loads of cash from Uganda's most affordable telecom service.
Uganda Telecom. It's all about you.
Ekifo ekimu kisawa musu n'ekyalo ekiweddeko abamanye bakiraza mumwa. Tugenda kutuuka gy'oli oyogere naffe ebikwata ku kyalo kyo, embeera mw'okolera, ebyobufuzi, ebyobulamu n'ensonga endala nnyingi. Ebyogerwa tebiyita. Tuusa eddoboozi lyo, yogera naffe buli lwakuna otereevu ku NTV akawungeezi.
A wife who you got through the office will be very insecure about you working in another place.
Always hunt up, don't hunt down.
You mean what? Go after your superior?
How dare you suggest that when a woman is aggressed against, we should look at the person who's been aggressed against?
Let the couple be. Let them sort out their issues. When they need you, then you come in.
Prostitution is being given a new brand.
All I know is that I connect people. Let's not choose to open our zips and do whatever our urge is, because I don't think that an urge is stronger than your will to say no.
People attach a lot of questions, shame to HIV.
I do not believe that when you wear a short dress, you should be a rap.
Marrying a wife is like having assured sex.
Anytime you come, you must have.
Yes.
To raise a population that has no clue how to be men.
Can you bring out a quality family?
I don't get married for my family.
Men, every Wednesday only on NTV.
Mikwano gyaffe bana NTV ate naddala mu bannaamu muli gw'emizannyo. Muli gw'ebyemizannyo gukomyewo 2014 ate mutya. Kati ate gukyusiza n'obudde. Gwa 7 gwali gwa 9 ne gugoberera ntusanyuka kati gubongereddeko wano malya g'ebyemisana awo. Osooke gubatayize gubaletire bintu kyonna kalonda n'ebyemizannyo. Muli gw'ebyemizannyo mupya 2014 Isima waali alagira Argentina yenjo mukubire eddiba lye omukwano kujja kukoma ku muli gw'emizannyo naye kasita kinatuuka eri bano ba Messi okulumba abalenzi baffe ba Thiago Silva awo tewali mukwano omuli gw'emizannyo 2014 President.
Every idea we have begins with you. The way you connect.
Good morning.
How you browse. How you share. And how you interact with the world around you.
Your relationship with your God is the most important thing. Have a company of people who have got a similar mindset.
How do you want people to think, feel, and act after your talk? In other words, what's your objective?
You inspire everything. Because in the end, innovation doesn't really matter unless it does something that really matters to you. And we are HTC.
Oda, I no go stop to the singing.
No problem. Keep singing. This singing will put you in trouble very soon. You won't believe it's the boy's father that inflicted such injury on him. Just because he stole 50 naira. 50 naira for that matter. That man should be arrested. Oh, how God. How I wish I could just see that man and give him a piece of money. Abigail, I don't care if you're chatting with Barack Obama. When you're at work, you learn how to detach yourself from that phone else to get you into trouble.
Whatever. I mean, you should be happy that a pilot is asking your friend out.
My brother, I learned that 3 armed robbers tried to rob a man as he came out of the tank at the junction before the express. Don't try to be the hero. You won't kill me.
Do you know how long I've been waking you up quietly and you refuse to wake?
Now you can't interrupt someone.
I'd like to pray with you, nurses, being the vessels that the Almighty God has been using to heal his people.
Okay. Can someone please talk to me? What is going on?
Who is she?
See, I hate cheating in my life. I hate cheating, and nothing will make me have 50 kobo to that money I already get to you.
Everybody in Parliament, as long as they can wake up and vote for the NRM.
As long as the voters exercise their rights to elect their leaders, there was no need for term limits in Uganda.
I know him. I know how he operates. I know how he thinks.
There are ways you can go around these obstacles.
Why should I conduct myself as if I am a Muyai?
It's absolutely true. I admire the President Museveni.
Is the ICC a fiscal code targeting African leaders?
You cannot tell me that the whole trouble Kenya had revolved about only the two individuals.
The money is not in the budget of this financial year.
You can't beat God. You see, God is polygamous also. Look at Jeremiah chapter 31.
The security of this country will largely depend on the contribution that the people make.
Hey there, Mr. Krabs! Are you ready to party?
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it, move it.
Wow! Hello, fellow motor enthusiastics.
Oh, Mr. Krabs! Isn't there any way for us to return all of them back to normal? Hey! How did he do that? The Red Ranger's a bigger problem than I thought! It's time to finish this thing up!
What can I do to make them love me again?
What are you drawing, Kitty? Mega Rangers? Yeah! That's a mega win! Hello? King Julian, you are truly inspiring.
Ow! SpongeBob! Fantastic!
Are you and I ever gonna have a chance to be sisters?
You want the baby to have my name?
Would that be okay?
So I'm happy you came. Yes, especially since I thought you were shunning all things Newman. I have my own reasons for showing up.
What did you say about him?
I'm sorry, attempted rape.
Okay, look, whatever you think you know about him, you don't know his heart.
If there is a way to make me feel more miserable, you will instinctively find it.
You gave up the one woman you loved, and now you're having a hard time figuring out how to move on?
I can't imagine who would want to hurt a good man like you.
Okay, you know what? I don't need you telling me how to feel about Lily.
Are you pregnant? No. Then why are you trying to alienate Tyler?
Has something happened between the two of you? Are you afraid that I'm gonna do something to ruin your marriage, or that you will?
Why don't we have a party? I'll bring Nikki and bring your siblings. How's that?
Now, what are you gonna do? You gonna blackmail them this time, or are you gonna bribe them?
Looks like Mommy's not the only one who knows how to make up a story.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji, and Brian Molondo.
You're still watching Morning at NTV this very last day of April. To some of your messages on Facebook, Tibita Fahim says, how can one pick that cup with the label of Morning at NTV? Well, you will have to answer the question, answer it correctly, and we shall contact you. You just have to come here and pick your cup from the NTV reception. to some more comments on the press review. We have Anthony Abenawe, who says, just amazing. Julia is asking, why not me involved? I'm not too sure what you want to be involved in. Be a bit more specific. And then we have God Wills saying, why should the National Council for Higher Education endorse the transcript at first? Anyway, those are all the messages we have. Remember, you can take part in this show by liking our Facebook page and going on to comment. We have over 12,000, a family of 12,000. So please join that family. I now hand you over to Joel at the rooftop for today's big story. Whom do we have, Joel, today?
Thanks so much, Mabel. We'll get back to the rooftop, and it's a big story coming up. Tomorrow is the International Labor Day. Many of you out there wake up every morning to go and work. What is it like, whatever it is that you do? Do you love your job? We'll talk a bit more about this when we get back with the big story. Welcome to the big story. Joel Senyonyi is my name. I need to apologize that earlier on told you we're going to have Honorable Richard Todwong for the big story. He is not here. I prepared very well for him with my yellow tie. I thought this man was going to come with some money, so this would, you know, make it easier for him. But he's not here with us this morning. Nonetheless, the big story does continue. This morning, I am going to help you meet the man that is behind the big story. Solomon Ruyonga Hands. How are you this morning?
How are you doing, Simon?
Simon?
No, sorry, I'm used to having Simon on set. How are you doing, Joel Senyonyi?
Chikulide, like we normally say. Ruyonga is the man that produces the big story. So in times like this, when the minister is supposed to come and he's not here, we are on Ruyonga's case. And this morning I said, Ruyonga, the minister is not here. Where are the mic?
How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Tell me, tomorrow is May Day, like some people call it, International Labor Day, where we get to reflect on the lives of employees out there, people that do whatever it is that they do to make a living. You are a journalist. Tell me about your story. How did you get into journalism?
Basically, at first I was a business student at MOBS, but I figured I was going to be more or less in the background. I'm a person who likes making a difference. So when I keep watching news and I read through the papers and go to the internet, I really feel I was supposed to be somewhere informing somebody. So that's when I made the detour to journalism.
So you cut your course short and...
yeah, I cut it short. I had to make up my mind, then run to UCU to do journalism.
Okay.
Yeah, so after that, I kind of really now got the feel. I got the vibe and then broadcast.
So how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this for the last 8 months now, at NTV, of course. And there's been a good experience, actually.
Good experience, you call it. Without a doubt, one of your biggest challenges, I would think, is when you call up guests, for example, and they disappoint you last minute, like this morning. Besides that, what else do you grapple with as a journalist out there?
Besides that, there's a lot of tick and tack in journalism. First of all, the laws are not very clear. We have the media being a bit sanctioned by parties to do with the government and the police. But at the end of the day, the fire in the belly is, what do you want to do? What do you want to inform? What is your target? So as a journalist, you have to be clear of how do I go through these barriers to be an objective person. So that's what we go through. For example, you want to meet a minister like today. He'll give you all these phone calls. Yeah, I'll be there. I'll call you. I'll send you an email. When the time comes, his phone is off. Your boss is on your case. Where is the minister? And you have to keep saying, Minister, and because he hasn't come, then maybe tomorrow you won't call him because you need him. He has to be here and inform the public. So, like we always do, of course, you keep pushing, Those are the challenges we have. Yeah.
What do you love most about your job?
What I love most is the adrenaline. There's too much adrenaline. I can't sleep. Sometimes you go off work, but you're at home, you're on the computer trying to contact guests, trying to make up scripts, trying to find out if they are going to make it on time. Then in the morning, 4 a.m., you're writing scripts, you're cutting videos here and there. But at the end of the day, it's more, what can I call it? It's more rewarding if you know you've got through your task very well. So it's one of those things, yeah. But journalism is it's like being a soldier.
Some people, get stupefied a little bit by that adrenaline, the adrenaline that you talk about. You wake up, you hear by, is it about 4 a.m. every morning? You are on pressure every now and again, and some would think, you know what, I love to put food on my table, but that is a very hard job. What drives you, man? We are always here shouting at you, Yoga, where is the guest, and that kind of, and I'm thinking, I don't want to do this man's job, but clearly, you seem to have, you know, some gusto, a way you go around it. What drives you?
Well, that drive is a bit, it's a bit, it's beyond us as humans. You know, there's always that extra strength. You know, the power to succeed is not necessarily about what you gain from it, but what do other people gain from it. If I talk to you, Joel Senyonyi, and I tell you that, you know, today is going to be Labor Day. But since you don't have internet, I am here to give you that news. Labor Day is all about this and that. This is what workers are supposed to go through. These are the laws here. These are the labor unions doing this and that. And if I feel you're satisfied with what I've given you, that is the power that drives all of us. That's the power that drives humanity.
Tomorrow is International Labor Day, and as we reflect on that and reflect on people out there that are doing whatever it is that they can, you know, to put food on their table, to see how this country keeps moving progressively forward. What are your concerns as an employee in this country? What is it that you feel, look, this has been on for too long, we need to remedy this, we need to sort this out, so that you can do your job with a lot more ease?
Yes, well, as I hosted on Monday, I hosted a few officials from the labor ministry.
Yes, yes.
One of them was a commissioner for
labor, and the other is commissioner for
safety and health. Yes. So, as an employee, I really feel there has to be pressure on these employers to make sure their employees are motivated more. You see, motivation is not all about salary. Motivation is about how does the boss talk to you in the morning, the first time he sees you. If I'm your boss, I'll say, hey, Joel, how's your night? So did you come up with my report? Say, don't worry, but I need it at midday. But is your wife good? So you see, the boss is interacting with you at a much higher level, not just as a professional level, but he's concerned about your family. He asks about your family, he asks about your kids, because he knows with your kids being sick or your wife being pregnant, that will not motivate you enough. So he gives you that kind of extra urge. The salary is just an added thing. It's a given. It has to be there. But those other simple things that come in. For example, throwing dinners for your employees, throwing them trips to outside countries, as the norm says, outside countries. So
it's one of the things.
I travel a lot.
You've gone to outside countries. You've been to Bupaden.
I've been to Bundibujo. Then at one time I kind of crossed into Kenya, then I came back because I was at Busia. So I've been there before. Yeah, but it's one of those things, you know, motivation and extra.
As we talk about Labor Day that's coming up, of course, those that will complain are those that have jobs. But I'll tell you, there is hundreds of thousands of Ugandans that want to do some kind of work, you know, irrespective of it not making so much money for them. They're looking for jobs, and there's not many jobs, you know. You sit here at NTV, you see many people coming with their envelopes every day, they turn them away. Not because NTV, you know, just enjoys turning away people, but, you know, there's a capacity to which this place can take on a number of people. Does that concern you as a journalist? What kind of remedy would you suggest if you say were to write in the papers or were to have it as a story to cover, and you were to give some kind of solutions? What would you suggest? Well,
the solution is always clear. Many people have said it before. Jobs are very scarce, but you can make a job. But still, I find that norm also very cliche. You can be job creators. I've had the ministers saying that, MPs saying that, motivational speakers saying that the youth can be job creators. You don't have to go and look for a job. But creating a job still needs something. And I'm very happy with the president for coming up with his youth fund.
You look like you want some money. When you begin telling
this youth fund is actually motivating the youth to actually come up with ideas, scratch here and there for making proposals. You know, but still, I always think being a volunteer is also a good thing.
It's a good place to start.
Yes, you never worry about earning nothing. You know, learning is a continuous process.
And besides, many employers keep asking for experience. So as a volunteer, you gain that experience, and
you get to meet new people.
Before you know it, you're there in.
Yes, you get to meet new people. New people give you new ideas. So you always have broadening. Your knowledge is broadening. You keep your muscle memory working. You know, it's what they call muscle memory. So if you're always doing something, even with no pay, someone will just come and say, you know what, I've seen you here 1 year, and you seem to be doing your job well. Can you come to my workplace? So with that,
There you have it. Solomon Rionga Hans, the man behind the big story. It's been a pleasure having you here. We have been longing to make you. You have succeeded.
Well,
it's been a pleasure.
You succeeded in the wrong instances, but yeah, thank you for hosting me.
My opinion is coming up shortly. Tomorrow, May 1st is the International Labour Day, and here in Uganda we join the rest of the world to commemorate, to celebrate, whatever you like to call it, with the rest of everybody, as we in many ways reflect on the people that wake up every morning to go out there, make a living, put food on their table, try to make this country better in one way or another. Well, some do their work at night and that kind of thing. This is the time to reflect a lot more. There's many people out there that are working, but one, their pay does not come on time. They're working under injurious circumstances, you know. At the end of the day, it's good that people can get to work, but can we make conditions a lot better for them? You know, to the employers out there, beginning with government and then the private sector. Can we do a lot more to see that these people that we take on should not just make money for us as employers, but let's see how we better their lives in one way or another. On the other flip side, of course, there's those that are not complaining about work conditions. Why? They don't have any job to complain about. On an annual basis, this country churns about 400,000 young people into the job market. How many jobs are available for these young people? Only about 9,000 of them. How many are going to, you know, take up these jobs? And we need to critically begin thinking, what can we do about this condition? It is going to eat us up, like Rionga keeps saying, or Kutulia, and this should not happen. You know, we need to put our heads together, do whatever it is that we can, so that we can avail jobs to our young people, and after availing those jobs, help them grow up. As they move forward, Uganda gets better. In the words of Abraham Lincoln, whatever you do, be a good one. Enough said. Morning at NTV continues. So long, everybody.
What's that?
That document.
Oh, that. Just some business.
I came to apologize. I have no right to interfere in your lives.
I've eliminated the only evidence that links me to Ivan Chinawa's death.
But you didn't have to kill another person.
It's not like I've got anything to hide, Nene. Just go ahead.
Victoria, how is it like to work for Miles Filagazi?
Blood seemed to matter not.
Blood?
Yeah, blood.
I'm responsible for your father's death.
I was going to my hall, someone came from my back and was
how? Tugenda okweba kechiro. Yanga mwami omanyi? Ola keko nango omurundi gwo gusembayo.
I went to the nurse and I asked why. Why is it that our father is negative and for us we are positive?
Every time I find a story of assault of one person to another, I get disturbed.
Mwayombye ekiro lwaleeta suzeewo lwe bakwokezza. Naze poza kimu nti mujja wange yanjokezza.
Kino ekyafa kino kyali kyakulira muno mu lubuto.
The Irene I know just loves music and loves to sing. I've never seen her even smoke a cigarette.
The days of legal trade in slaves are history, following its abolition in the 1800s.
They tie you like this. That's when I started getting past.
Everybody has a story, but yours will only become our story when you share it.
Oluvannyuma lwa lutalo abaana bangi batwalibwa abekika era bulala basigadde
abamu bajja ne babakima
era twagende mu Lukola eyo inakasongola mu Buluri twagende mu Butale babalaaro okubuuza omwana oyo mumanyi
nti mukwate obutonde obwekonkome mukwate obutonde bwa Ebola mubuteeke mu nsigo omuzungu ayogedde palamenti muyise bosi basajja
omulembe guno gutuusemu n'abantu n'entondo kati waliwo n'emyaka egy'entondo
waliwo yakiŋŋamba
bamugamba muŋŋambe bulungi kati munkwate empola
dokita buli akwata bayibuli ajja kusomera bintu nga ye bw'alowooza. For example, waliwo controversy yaliwo
tobeera mu ssuuti ate n'oteekamu gganduula
olina kubeerako kimu
beerako kimu
kubanga okusomesezza tumaze emyaka 2
tusomesa bannayuganda eddembe lyammwe mulimanyi oluusi n'obusobozi obulina nakulabira abaganda baagala kabaka
Me. Oh, you give me way too much credit.
You know what? You got what you want. But what shocks me is that you don't care at all about...
Kampala has been voted in the past as one of the favorite cities for tourists, one of the most peaceful cities. That is something that is changing.
Kale Kaihura, the Inspector General of Police, and President Yoweri Museveni, their alliance, they can only crack down or stop individual strikes and individual demonstrations. But I don't think they can stop the growth of militancy.
No holds barred.
Besigye and Lukwago have particular grievances against the government, some legitimate, some misguided. What should the police do? Of course, the police has to intervene, A, to protect the power of President Yoweri Museveni and the NRM from disruption by Besigye and Lukwago, but B, also, never forget this, to protect those ordinary people whose property gets destroyed.
I want to ask that many think that they've actually been frustrated.
Opposition parties in Africa do not tend to be constructed around policy differences. FDC lacks a glue to hold its coalition of different power-hungry individuals together.
Incisive.
You see, the NRM is more divided internally than the FDC. The advantage with the NRM is it has political power.
Analytical.
I think that one of the best organized political parties in Uganda is the PPP, the People's Progressive Party with Dan Sali. This idea that everybody is peddling around the world that Africans are poor and they cannot contribute to their own political and social emancipation is crap. In fact, I think that the opposition parties in Uganda have to win an election in an unfair and unleveled ground.
Newsnight with Andrew Mwenda.
I'm going to blow your mind and I'm going to twist your taste buds. The flavors are already coming together. I can feel them. Very lovely, very appetizing, very healthy. Remember, the way you see it, the way you like it, is the way you get it from my kitchen to your kitchen.
Running out of airtime can happen to anyone. The next time you recharge, simply dial *161# to get going again.
On the next episode of Login.
This week on Login, we bring you an amazing train dinner in Zambia.
Where my lady at?
It's another one. The Kofi Olomide live concert in Kampala.
Yes.
And Silk Unplugged. All this Wednesday 7:30 p.m. only on NTV.
Login.
At Orange, we know that running out of airtime can happen to anyone. That's why we bring you Wetase. Simply dial *161# to get going again. Convenience changes with Orange. Today changes with Orange.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji and Brian Mulondo.
And we're still at the rooftop of the Kampala Serena Hotel, and before the break we had the big story. Ruyonga, the man behind the big story. What happens when guests don't come? What happens, chimulia or what chimulia? What happens when someone tells you they'll be here and they're not here? We're looking also at whether you, tomorrow, ahead of tomorrow, the World International Labour Day, how you value your job. Joel Senyonyi there. So the next time you hear us saying Ruyonga, Chikulide, and you know that something, not good So we'll continue to bring the faces behind some of this amazing work here at NTV, some of the people that, literally don't sleep. Ruyonga, sometimes at 3 a.m. is still, waiting on people to say, yes, I'll be there. Fantastic job, Ruyonga. Thank you so much. We definitely value you. You can head over to Twitter on Twitter handle at morning at NTV and let us know what you think about the show, what we can do to improve it. Our Facebook page is also open. Mabel will be coming back to tell us, what you've commented on Facebook. Now later in the show, we'll also be having Everyday Life, a focus on what we can do to reduce the number of mothers that die, especially while they are pregnant or delivering, and some of the action points that you and I can do, that a group of women have come up with to make sure that we save more mothers in this country. Now Mabel is coming up with your birthday wishes and your Facebook comments. I'll see you in a bit.
Brian, thank you very much. Today we will be saying happy birthday to a few people right after this. Well, today we say happy birthday to John O'Shea, who is an Irish player. He played for Manchester United from 1999 to 2011. He's currently with Sunderland. He plays for the Irish national team, and he plays as a defender and a defensive midfielder. Today we also say happy birthday to... I've lost him over here, but the Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper is actually the 22nd Prime Minister of Canada. He turns 55 today. So if you're born this day, the 30th of April, you share your birth with them. Now on to some of your Facebook messages. We have Akenda Emma asking, is Joel Senyoni the son to the Vice Chancellor of UCU? Well, I'll allow Joel to answer that question, but I think not. We also have some other people. Bira now saying there is a need to for a clear source of accountability for the money. Couldn't it have been used in a more constructive venture? I think she's referring to the stories earlier in today's show. And then someone says, of course it is there is no doubt about it. You can see can't you see fellow Ugandans open up your eyes? And Chris Code saying, by the way, government is doing all good things in service delivery. It doesn't need to pay money to people so they can vote it. This is referring to the pictures we saw earlier of money being given out. We now return to, before we get to Brian, Code is saying, that's bribery of all sorts. Unless you are blind and dumb, then you can't fail to see or know what is actually happening. If you have not yet liked our Facebook page, I am happy to note that we have 12,300 likes. So please go and like our page. Let's start conversation. I saw someone yesterday was posting about the morning shows, and all feedback is welcome. We now return to Brian at the rooftop for today's HCC moment.
Well, thank you, Mabel, for those that are born today. Thank you so much for being born. Well, probably thank your mothers, but make sure that you celebrate safe on your birthdays. Now, HTC, proudly powering everyday life, and it's quietly brilliant. A quick look at the M8, which I told you is here, but it's officially going to be available on May 7th across the whole world. HTC One, which is the M8, comes with a 5-inch full HD display and will be available in 16GB and 32GB storage options with support for expandable storage via your micro SD cards of up to 128GB capacity. It comes in gunmetal grey, amber gold, glacier silver color options, and the phone comes with a 2,600 hour battery. Wow, Beautiful. The highlight of the M8 is the dual rear camera setup that puts a 4 ultra pixel camera alongside a depth sensing camera, enabling cool things like refocusing images just up the center of the image, and it refocuses it. A 5 megapixel front camera is also included as well, and it also comes with a body that is 90% metal. Fantastic, right? M8 available May 7th at the Forest Mall HTC hub. Head over there. There's also other models. The HTC Desire 300, 500, 600. The HTC One Gold, and the one that I'm holding, HTC One Max, which is called the M7. Tomorrow we'll also be giving you questions so that you can win any of the models. Coming up, Everyday Life.
Everyday Life is brought to you by...
And we are HTC.
Now, child death is... Oh, we apologize for that. Now, childbirth is a death trap in Uganda, and it claims the lives of 17 mothers and 106 newborns every day. This morning, we're going to look at what a group of ladies have come to know as Act Now to Save Mothers, and some of the actions that they are, asking us to do, whether you're a stakeholder at the family level, at the district level, and at the hospital level, what you can do to make sure that we save more lives in Uganda. Joining me is Robin Abitei, who is the National Coordinator of the White Ribbon Alliance for Safe Motherhood. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Brian.
Very good morning.
Good morning.
17 mothers is quite a lot. The 106 is too much. Yeah, in some countries this is unacceptable. Yeah. How grave is this situation that we are looking at?
Yeah, as you have said, in Uganda we lose 17 mothers every day, and we also lose 106 newborns every day. And most of these newborns die on the first day they are born.
Right.
So it's very unacceptable, and we think everyone has a role to play in ensuring that we prevent these preventable deaths. First of all, the government of Uganda committed to providing emergency obstetric and neonatal care. This is life-saving care, and we think if the government delivers on its commitment, we will save most of these lives. However, the community, the family also have a role to play.
Before we go to those roles, government, of course, saying that by 2015 that is their goal. It's 2 years to 2015. Well, let's say 1 year to 2015. As White Ribbon, do you see this even, coming fast with just, there's literally nothing has been done to improve the situation?
Really, the government has already acknowledged that the goals, the targets we set for 2015 are not going to be achieved. And as a result, they have revised the targets through what is called a sharpened plan, and have set new goals to be achieved by 2015 and beyond. So now we are looking at different targets, and I think the government has again committed that they will try and achieve these new targets. So that's what we are now looking at, and asking the government to deliver on those promises.
What are your findings out there in the field? How serious is this? We may be here, especially for people who are in Kampala, especially those who have insurance. Most of them have insurance. Actually, they will go, and the antenatal is always scheduled. the moment they know they are going to have a baby, the whole plan is laid out by their gynecologist. But out of Kampala, what is the situation?
Okay, the White Ribbon Alliance, in a partnership with district health teams, did an assessment of health centers 3s and 4s in 3 districts. That's Lira, Mityana, and Kavari. Found out whether actually the services that are life-saving are accessible and available. We found out that there are big gaps. For example, we found out that none of these health facilities we assessed could meet the minimum requirements for emergency obstetric and newborn care. We also found out that life-saving services like blood transfusion are not available. And
is blood transfusion also part of the minimum requirement?
Yes, it is. Every health center should have facilities that can enable the facility to give blood transfusion to a mother. Like storage facilities, like laboratories that are functional, but we found out that none of these had functional laboratories that could offer blood transfusion. We also found out that cesarean section, which is a very essential service, was not available in almost all the health centers. We also found out that healthcare workers were below the minimum requirements. And we hear of so many mothers who go to health facilities, they have to wait because it is only one midwife who has to deal with so many mothers.
I see an advert of one midwife trying to work with the 5 pregnant women, and all of them are calling her, and she just gets confused and stops.
Yes, that's the real situation in many of these health facilities. So one of our asks to the government is to ask them to ensure that their midwives at health centers 3s and 4s, and they are also doctors at health center 4s to provide these life-saving services.
You talked about earlier minimum requirements for emergency obstetric and newborn care. Well, you told us about, blood transfusion. That is important. Because the mother runs out of blood. We need to get more blood in the centers. What else is essential in the health centers?
Apart from the human resources requirements and of course a functional laboratory and an operation theater that can do a cesarean section, there are other requirements of supplies, medicines, and equipment. For example, there has to be a delivery bed, there has to be a delivery set, there has to be equipment for resuscitating the baby in case the baby is not breathing well. There have to be essential medicines for preventing bleeding and controlling high blood pressure. All these are part of the minimum requirements for emergency obstetric care.
I was in Photo, and women are saying they are asked to pay for mama kits. But the National Medical Service says, we give mama kits. We send them, and all these women have. The hospital says, these women have, they are just lying to you. But then I witnessed a woman paying 2,000 shillings for a mama kit. Is there anything that as White Ribbon you have already done in the background to help these women before we call on to other people, other stakeholders, your organization?
White Ribbon really is an advocacy organization. But we know that the government has committed to providing a mama kit for every woman who is pregnant. And I think the efforts have begun producing food. But we also found out there are other challenges. For example, if the districts don't order enough mama kits based on the numbers of the expected deliveries, of course they will be run short of mama kits. There are other initiatives like ensuring that when a mother comes to the antenatal clinic, she's actually given a mama kit. But we also ask mothers and families to ensure that they get ready for a delivery. So a mama kit does not cost very much money.
Right.
We encourage mothers and families to save for pregnancy and childbirth. So in case a mother goes and she doesn't find a mama kit at the health facility, she should at least have prepared.
Well, if you're just joining us, we are looking at emergency obstetric and newborn care. And we're looking at what our stakeholders should do to make sure that we save more mothers. 17 mothers die every day and 106 newborns. That is such a huge number. And contribute on our Facebook platform, Morning at NTV, or you can tweet it at Morning at NTV or send the message to 6565. The responsibility now. You launched this campaign in early April. What do you want us to do? Because we are saying government is Yambi. Everything is for government. Okay? Where is this call to action?
No, I think the government has a role to play, but I also think it's everyone's responsibility. Make sure we don't lose mothers and babies during pregnancy and childbirth. First of all, I would like to highlight the role of the family. The role of the family is very critical. Pregnancy is something that you must prepare for. So I think as soon as a mother gets pregnant, she has to make sure she attends an antenatal clinic. She has to make sure she knows exactly where, which health facility she will deliver at, and she has to make sure that she has basic requirements. The father is very, very critical.
What's the role of men in this?
The role of the man is that she should really support her wife during pregnancy and childbirth. He should be there for the mother. He should make sure there is a little money saved, make sure that if his mother or his wife needs emergency transport, can get it easily without wasting time, because we know, for example, if a woman starts bleeding, she could only have about 2 hours to live. So it's very, very important that the family is ready, the man has saved enough money and is ready, can get transport, emergency transport very, very quickly. Save the mother, the life of the mother.
Well, I am a father and I can tell you that the moment you find out that you're going to have a baby, then everything changes. You have to start planning whatever you plan to make sure you make it easier for the mother. All right. Yes, we now have the responsibility of the family.
Now, the community. The community has a big role to play, because we should all be each other's keeper.
Yeah.
If you see a woman who is pregnant and needs help, I think we should do all as a member of the community.
We have this notion, this is a thing together so you suffer.
No, I think that's wrong. And as I've pointed out earlier, a woman who is in labor needs very, very quick attention. So as a community, if we notice that there is a woman who needs help, we should try. If you are a border rider, if you have a car, if you have a little money, please try to help this mother to get to the health facility as soon as possible. Yeah.
All right. We always say government is beyond that, but we also have people who may not be in government positions, that are local council chair.
In fact, we have been working with the local councils because we know that it's the local district councils that are really responsible for the delivery of services. And we have encouraged citizens to present petitions to the local councils, asking them to honor their promises and play their role. So local councils can use different initiatives to strengthen emergency obstetric care services. For example, we know some local councils have approached Rotary, and Rotary has helped. They have approached other corporate sector entities who have also come up and supported them. So I think it's very, very important for local councils to leverage different opportunities to strengthen the health services within their districts.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of leverage, for example, my MP has more opportunities to lobby, say government, doing all these things in place. And when we are campaigning, we are going to clean up the city hospital. We're going to make it look, have you challenged leadership as far as that is concerned, especially from, say, MPs or the Minister of Health, to work more, to make sure that more women are safe?
Yes. For example, let's really this is where we are working. We are working very closely with the MPs. When we launched this campaign, we started with district launches. And MPs attended the launches, and citizens presented petitions asking them to really support maternal and newborn health care. And we saw MPs very active in China. We had Honorable Senator here and Honorable Kiwanda. They pledged to support maternal health. In Kabale, we had Honorable Lona. She did the same. In India, we had MPs. They are all trying to support this initiative.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know that for me, I've heard that there are so many initiatives that come up with it for empowering women or saving mothers. And I always ask, what is so different from the others that have come and gone, doing the same thing? What is so different to the White Ribbon campaign?
I think the White Ribbon campaign focuses on emergency obstetric care because we realize, as many other people do, that it is a life-saving skill. Without it, we are going to find it very difficult to prevent many of these maternal and newborn deaths. Secondly, we have also decided that it would be best to focus on a few districts and learn, use the direction to scale up the national.
So you use
and
like pilot.
Yes, they are pilot districts. But what is special about this campaign is that we are also working with the citizens. We are working with MPs from the area. We are working with the media, and so that we can make it a national concern. Yes.
Oh, thank you so much for doing that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for getting up very early to come and tell our viewers. Up Now to Save Mothers is a campaign that is running, and if you look at health centers that do not have, all these places, all these equipment for mobilization at the same time, so that you have had all those stories of women dying. You know, it's later. Let me tell you about that guy. Because the centers are not enough. In Kabbalah, only 7 out of 22 health centers have piped water. It's a very, very sad thing. And so that you don't compromise yourself, you need to start now, especially as a family member. I always say the family first. You as a husband, you need to get responsible the moment you find out the woman is pregnant. Make it your role, make it your call, make sure you have a safe and healthy baby at the end of the day. We'll be giving out more details of that on our Facebook.
Playing in the Champions League final, and that's because Cristiano Ronaldo set a record last night. I'll be telling you about that for us.
You're not very excited because you have given it to Real Madrid already.
No, I'm not excited. Also, the reason why Chelsea cannot pass the bar tonight against Atletico.
Well, I probably be getting myself a banana because Donald Sterling definitely deserves what he got. But
Everyday Life was brought to you by
We are HTC.
a wife who you got through the office will be very insecure about you.
When they leave you, then you come in.
Prostitution is being given a new brand. All I know is that I connect people. Let's not choose to organize it and do whatever ad, because I don't think that an ad is stronger than your will to say no.
People attach a lot of questions, shame to HIV.
I do not believe how to be men. Can you bring out a quality family?
I don't get married for my family.
Men, every Wednesday only on NTV.
She was molested when she was 6 by someone she trusted.
The doctors finally walked into the door. They basically told me that she had a prostate cancer with her. I couldn't understand how somebody that...
Not normal. Not good. I wasn't lovable. As a teen, Melissa discovered that drinking gave some relief.
Tommy is free today and continues to tell people that it was Jesus who changed his life.
The time I spent in prison, I spent putting my ideas together on,
facing desperate situations, just like you and me.
Jesus died to set you free, and he can give you harm.
Ekyo ekimu kisawa mususu n'ekyalo ekiwedeka abamanye bakiraza mumwa tugenda kutuuka gy'olyoyogere naffe ebikwata ku kyalo kyo embeera mw'okolera ebyobufuzi ebyobulamu n'ensonga endala nyingi ebyogerwa tebiyita tuusa eddoboozi lyo yogera naffe buli lwakuna otererevu ku NTV akawungeezi.
Mr. Krabs, are you ready to party?
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. Wow!
Hey! How do you do that? The Rainbow Ranger's a bigger problem than I thought.
It's time to finish this thing up.
What can I do to make them love me again?
What are you drawing, Kitty?
Running out of airtime can't happen to anyone. The next time
You cannot live on bread and kisses alone, right? The truth is, I don't know if I'll ever understand her.
That's right, Warren.
And you're just a sad woman who thinks she owns everyone and everything in this town.
You're mistaken. I'm the boss here. Does it bother you?
La Patrona.
with Orange. Today, changing with Orange.
very good morning to you if you're just joining us online or on your telly at home. YouTube.com/NTV Uganda /live. Mabel and Isma here with you. Good morning.
Good morning.
I was talking emergency obstetric and newborn care earlier.
That's what they call it, obs and gang, I think.
Your OBGYN.
Yeah.
Gynecologist.
Yeah.
Mujabiga na mujabiga. We have all experienced that where a woman goes and she dies, whether it's your friend or, you guys have...
maternal mortality is one of those things that makes everyone's heart to bleed for it. Yeah, maternal mortality.
A woman carries the baby for 9 months and then dies,
And even if something small, sometimes either she overbleeds or someone just doesn't care. And sometimes you may be complaining that some of the cases I've had, the lady say, I'm really not well, and then they say, that's schedule, and then someone either blood pressure, I knew someone who died because of blood pressure, she had even that 2 days later have pressure when you are traumatized.
My son, no, I was not traumatized. Yeah, if I say what I did in maternity ward, in the labor ward, they may fire the gynecologist. But moving on to our sport, Isma, a chance for UCU Cannons to, build on their past game. They had a very good game in the past. Can they, what more can they do to make sure?
I think they should easily make it into today because they play Charging Rhino, which is one of the lesser teams. I think the team that will lead what I call a 5-team relegation table at the bottom. Of course, UCU Cannons winning that game last Friday against the City Oilers by 77-72 in the National Basketball League, and it's a start of a very busy weekend for basketball because while they are playing the league today, then tomorrow, because Lebanese will take advantage of it being a public holiday and have games, and they'll play again on Friday and Sunday. It's also a weekend when the University Basketball League gets into the playoffs, and that means that they'll be playing in Lugogo from tomorrow, and this is live, I think, on Zuku Sports, which is a good thing. The first time university basketball or university sport in Uganda will be screened live on television. So for UCU Cannons, some of their players will have to feature in the game today against Charging Rhino for the National Basketball League, and then tomorrow in the Zuku University Basketball League. So quite a busy weekend, I think, for basketball in Uganda. I start saying weekend because for many tomorrow will start being a weekend, and if I work in
I don't like what he did, but is it too hard?
I think the NBA Commissioner Adam Silver was saying they have to make a statement. And actually, besides being banned for life from basketball and being fined $2.5 million, he's also going to be forced to sell his team.
That's what I want to ask.
I've always thought democracy is powerful, not this powerful to take out my property. Because this is the longest serving owner website that I follow up on personally. Because the first time I remember following up on TMZ.com was late in the night at about 2 a.m. when that story about Michael Jackson first broke. And I was somewhere, I first picked up on it, and then the first link was TMZ.com.
I got more fascinated
for life. Now the next step is that the NBA Commissioner is going to force league governors to vote and force him to sell the club.
Wow.
And one of the people to throw their hat in the ring it was about making a statement, I think, for the NBA. Right. It was about making a statement and getting this guy out and probably get that bad publicity going, because after that, the Clippers have just won their game about 10-15 minutes ago. They won against the Golden State Warriors, 113-103. Probably no one will be discussing, and then we'll wait for how the story about the ownership unfolds over the next few months. It might take a bit of time, by the way, saying about 6 to 8 months before the ownership is passed on from Sterling to someone else.
Wow, definitely tragic. Well, I don't like what he did, but man, banning you for life.
Does that mean you also can't watch games?
He can't watch games, he can't get involved in anything sport in the US.
In anything sport, not just basketball?
Not just basketball.
Wow, now that's hard.
He needs to eat a lot of bananas.
He needs to become Daniel Alves' neighbor.
I tell you.
Well, Isma, 4-0 is tragic. For a team like Bayern Munich,
it's 4-0. The way they did at home last night is a bit disturbing in whatever sense you look at it. but this is a testament of what Bayern's weaknesses are and Real Madrid's strengths are. Because you look over the 2 legs, the 5 goals that Bayern have conceded have come to the situations where they must concede. They've had got some set pieces, two last night from Sergio Ramos, and then another from Cristiano Ronaldo, which is also set piece, and then 2 counter-attacks, one by Ronaldo and the other by Benzema last week. It's exactly the weaknesses that Bayern Munich have had, and I've got to give it to Real Madrid, not because I've been a doomsayer for Bayern, because I always thought that Real Madrid will win the Champions League. I've been knocked out by Borussia Dortmund. The year before they knocked out by Bayern. The year before they knocked out, I think, by Barcelona, back in 2011. So you look at it, it's been a litany of disappointment, and at some point that stops. Yeah. I think at some point that stops because you keep getting there. And I remember it's the same thing I had with Ian Robben when the time everyone was saying, he has a bit of ill luck on his side. He's the person who gets there but never wins. When you keep knocking on the doors, that don't normally open. And
I really
he lost 4 finals before he won his first Grand Slam. So it's that kind of thing that you've got to keep doing. And I've got to give it to Real Madrid and Cristiano Ronaldo. Because last night Ronaldo became the record scorer in a single season in the Champions League. He scored 16, and you could almost see what it meant when he got his 16, which was to tie the record with Lionel Messi. He went out and showed the cameras 5, 5, and 5 3 times. 15, then he got a 16th and he couldn't find a 16th finger to make the signal. But I think it's a sign for Real Madrid. For Bayern, I think it's going to go down to everyone is going to start blaming Pep Guardiola. The team possesses the ball but never has that cutting edge. This name back in 1992. No team has managed to defend this. And there are teams that have appeared in multiple finals. In 94-95, AC Milan got to 2 finals. 96, 97, 98. 3 years in a row, Juventus played 3 finals and won 1. There's a reason why teams don't defend this competition. So probably for me that's one of the things that cut out Bayern. But I thought Real Madrid brilliant, and they had tactics spot on. They knew why they're going to hurt Madrid. They knew if we get the ball in from set pieces we'll hurt them. They knew if we do it with a lot of pace, especially for the goal that Ronaldo scored, which was the 3rd.
Has Atletico also been knocking on the door for a couple of years?
No, they haven't. They only their first semi-final in 18 years. They are the kind of team that you get the feeling of destiny in their hands because they've just here for the first time in 18 years. They have a very tough game at Stamford Bridge because Chelsea are knocking on the door. They have been knocking on that door again and again until it opened and they won. Now, I have to say, now the problem now with Chelsea is that they've got to change the way they play. In the past 2 games, they've been brilliant as a defensive unit. Now, they've got to go out and attack Atletico because the game is goalless. If Atletico do score 1 at Stamford Bridge, then Chelsea have to score 2. If Atletico score 2, then Chelsea have to score 3. And you can almost bank on Atletico to get a goal here and there. Now, Chelsea have got to change the way they play. Jose Mourinho, without several players, I think Frank Lampard is out. Jonathan Mikel is out suspended. So you have to find that balance between defense and attack that Chelsea have not had for most of the season. So I have a feeling that he's going to set out probably to try and win the game as late as possible. Because they are playing probably for me the best team in Europe defensively. I do rate Atletico highly. Probably they have the most games that they've won by a goal to nil. And I remember one at the weekend against Valencia. They won theirs by a goal to nil. And they look comfortable all the way. But should be a very close game. These are 2 teams that play chess in football. Actually, last week when they played, I thought everyone is a football purist. If you support us and if you love your attacking football, you need to have switched off your television at 9:44. Just a minute to kick off because the game was as bad as the former sporting director of Real Madrid, Jorge Valdano, did call a Liverpool-Chelsea game with language I can't use on this show. Exactly, that's how bad the game was. Now they've got to change that a bit because both teams have a lot to win and a lot to lose. Yeah. There's a final in Lisbon, a chance to go and play Real Madrid in the final.
Awesome. You know, I guess when if you get to the final and lose, you've been there. You know, you are already a winner.
Arsenal in the final 8 years ago.
Dude.
2006.
No, the moment.
And for a moment I thought they were going to win.
The moment Paul Campbell scored, I knew we were not going to win. When people like that score in a final.
Isn't it when there was a red card? I remember a red card. The goalkeeper.
But that game was just because of Thierry Henry. At 1-0, Thierry Henry had 3 keeper to beat chances. Wasted all. Then Barcelona got their chances.
Paul Campbell should never have scored, period.
Juju, is that what you're saying?
He just, you know. Quickly, how soon should Juventus be champions?
They should be champions at the weekend because I thought it was very important for them to win their last game against Sao Solo. They came from a goal down and won that by 3-1. They should be champions of the weekend because now they need only 2 points to win the league. And they've got to do this quicker because in their penultimate game of the season, they play Roma, the team that they lead in the league by 8 points. So I think for Antonio Conte and this team, they know this is the most vital weekend. But before they even get there, they have a big issue tomorrow, which will be talked about when they play Benfica in that return leg of the Europa League semi-final, where they need to get the final because they have that final at the Juventus Stadium in Turin. But I think it will be a very satisfying finish to the season for Juventus. I thought at some point, even when they were winning the league, it didn't bring that kind of satisfaction. And it's long since Juventus won 3 league titles in a row. So to go and be able to do this at a time when no one really banks on them. I thought last year when they lost by 5 goals to nil to Bayern Munich in the Champions League, that was for them dead and buried. Now they've gone back and responded. They still haven't done well in Europe. They still have a lot of work to do to compete with the best in Europe, in the Champions League. But probably to build on the block of dominating the Serie A should be a start. And some of their players have come very good this season. I thought I've loved what Arturo Vidal has done. I've loved Paul Pogba. I've loved the resurrection of Fernando Llorente. In his years at Athletic Bilbao was everything. Now this time, after that 1 year out, in his last year at Athletic Bilbao was barely playing because he was involved in an argument with the coach Marcelo Bielsa and had to be benched for the entire, but now he's back in that kind of form. And then Carlos Tevez. So they should be champions this weekend. They need 2 points, they'll get 3.
Right. Well, you can catch more sport with Isma Lumansi and Alan later at 1:30 p.m. on Omumuli. Sports Bar, of course, from Capsule every Monday at 10:30 p.m. For now, your African program. Well, our morning, just pardon me a bit. I can't seem to. Bath is the only remedy for death.
Bath is the only remedy for death. Does bath exactly replace the dead?
Yes.
But there are more people born than those who die because the population of the world is growing. And I remember when the 7 billion person was born, it was the biggest story all over international media, I think at some point early last year.
But you see, everyday people die and everyday people are born, so you're always feeding and replacing whoever's died.
But more people are born. What you're saying is more people are born than those who die.
Really?
Yes, that's why we're growing.
The world is growing.
Yeah, but still, I think we do like for trees. For one person that dies, 2 are born.
Yes. Of course, there is nothing that replaces death.
That's
when
what
you're
I'm
gone.
thinking.
Yeah. When you're dead, you're gone.
Right.
And the only way is back.
Right.
Is that a message to Mabel?
You cannot die if you're not born.
That makes sense also.
Yeah.
A message for Mabel.
Before you know it, we shall have also our cabell.
Every morning.
With the
when you went to CBS on April 1st, you must have.
Yeah, I did
Can get it.
that. Yeah. So Mabel?
Yes.
Yeah, story. Mulinya.
That's my head.
Alright. Thank you so much, Vivian Muruji, for your African proverb. If you want yours to be featured on this show, please feel free to send it to Facebook Morning at NTV, or you can send us a text and send that proverb to 6565, or tweet it at Morning at NTV. And we want to say